You've joined Prophecy Talk for analysis of world events and unfolding Bible prophecy, brought to light by prophecy expert and author Erica Gray of www.ericagray.com.
Welcome, folks, to Prophecy Talk, where you come for real Bible prophecy news and analysis. Trump's peace plan was unveiled, and many of you must be wondering now what is next and what exactly does the Trump peace plan signify in end-time Bible prophecy. We've been watching the peace process for years now, and it is significant that there would need to be a peace plan or a peace treaty, because one of the major teachings in Bible prophecy, or one of the major events, is the covenant that is signed by the Antichrist on behalf of Israel, guaranteeing Israel's peace. And through the last several decades, we have watched peace plan come and peace plan go. But the main thing that is most significant is that there is this embarking on a process for peace with different parties coming up with different plans. But on this channel, I provide analysis. And unlike other channels, I will show you areas that don't quite fit in the prophetic unfolding. And we do have a lot that's unfolding. And of course, we talk about that on this channel. And with the Trump peace plan, what is very significant is the moves that he has made on behalf of Israel, and that he's not been afraid to come out against the public opinion and make decisions on behalf of Israel, especially when it's come to Jerusalem and his recognition of Jerusalem and moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. But when Donald Trump has made each of these very pro-Israel, which has really delighted those evangelicals, or those of us who are evangelicals, it has enraged the Palestinians. So with the unveiling of the Trump peace plan, even before it was unveiled, the Palestinians basically have already decided they would reject it. Just shortly before its unveiling, even practically threatening a war over it if they proceed with it. And we see in the Trump plan this recognition of, excuse me, and my broadcast just went off. Okay, give me a second. And we'll see what happens. Okay, it looks like I'm just going to have to put a photo because I am no longer broadcasting. So we'll stick a Bible prophecy. There we go. Bible prophecy news brief. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so with the Trump peace plan, sorry for the technical difficulty that is now happening. But basically with the Trump peace plan, it's being very much rejected right now. It looks like there's going to be a stir. But what's pretty significant that's becoming very obvious is we're watching the Palestinian Authority basically dig in its heels to Jerusalem and not wanting to concede any part of Jerusalem, even though the Trump peace plan makes for a portion of East Jerusalem to be the capital of the Palestinian state in the future. So I want to talk about this because basically, in a nutshell, this plan is not the plan. There's a lot going around about this the verse that's in Scripture of when they say peace, peace, sudden destruction, that does not apply to this particular plan. That is talking about the Antichrist covenant of death when they say peace, peace, sudden destruction, because that's what he's going to be about. So what do we have to look forward to? Well, there is one thing that's very significant about the Trump plan, and that is the way that Trump has not been afraid to go against world opinion, public opinion, and take a stand for the nation of Israel and take a stand for Jerusalem. The Antichrist will do the exact same. As a matter of fact, the Antichrist is going to do even more because he's going to actually guarantee the state or the nation peace, and he's going to make a covenant with them that will mirror the Abrahamic covenant. So what the Trump peace plan basically does is it's forging that path. It's going to make it easier when the Antichrist comes out basically on behalf of Israel. But what is now happening with the Palestinians and in response to this plan, what's happening is that we're seeing the Palestinians totally digging their heels into Jerusalem. And they're not going to let go, and they're just hanging on because as far as they are concerned, this is their capital. Now this presents what I call a gap. And we have a lot of areas of prophecy that are unfolding right now and pointing to are actually unfolding that are the signs that we know we're looking for. But when it comes to Jerusalem, we have a gap. And the fact that they're digging in their heels further presents a problem. So what next is all roads lead to the Antichrist peace treaty. So the fact that Trump is also trying to figure a way to resolve the conflict in the Middle East, the plan will not be adopted. The plan that's going to be adopted is going to be the Antichrist plan. So everything that comes out until then most likely will not work. And we see, could one come out by an entity and possibly pave? I think we're getting a little too close for that. I think we can pretty much say at this point that the treaty that's going to be really significant is going to be the one that's negotiated by the Antichrist, and we're going to be raptured out of here at that point. But so one of the issues that we're going to be watching on this channel is the Jerusalem issue, because for the Antichrist peace treaty, what we get from Scripture is that Jerusalem, in the time of the end, is Israel's, and it's not divided, and it doesn't belong to the Palestinians, and it doesn't belong, it is Israel's. So something is going to change this whole stance, this whole opinion from now until the Antichrist comes on the scene with his peace treaty, and we will be following these things on this channel. And I've already talked about how the two-state solution has been going on for several decades. It's going nowhere, and there's already talk, and a think tank in Germany has already come out with other proposals than a two-state solution. So that's what's happening. I think another sad piece of this plan is we're seeing the United States not have the positioning that it once had. We're seeing a lot of division in the Middle East. Russia coming out at the 75th anniversary of Auschwitz and basically proposing its own peace conference under the auspices of the UN with the P5 permanent members of the Security Council. We see the Palestinian Authority running to the European Union, also embracing Vladimir Putin, There's a lot of division right now that actually has resulted in part because of the Trump peace plan. But what we see happening with Russia is the unfolding and the beginning of another prophecy, which is the Ezekiel 38 prophecy, where we know that Russia will be at a time of peace with Israel because God has to turn him completely around. So, this division of Russia coming in actually fulfills or is unfolding another piece of prophecy. But with the United States, it's almost this reaction is almost a first, so that you're seeing the United States not being taken as seriously as it was in the past. And we know that the United States is going to lose and is in the process right now of losing its empire or superpower status. It's been in decline for a bit of time. And again, we've watched that. I report on this channel because we know that the United States does not have a leading place in the end time. And so we know this decline, this final decline is coming, which will most likely be when the US dollar ceases to be the reserve and the world's reserve currency, and then therefore the US will not have as strong a say as it has had. And we're seeing this with the weaponization of the dollar, and now nations are making moves against the United States. So I think also what the peace plan shows is this US not having the same stature in the Middle East that it once had, which again is unfolding of prophecy. So I think I've given you quite a bit of information as far as what's next. What's next? You can expect to see the US further decline, the conflict in the region continue. We've got the election right now that's in Israel. That's not even certain. We have Benjamin Netanyahu that just got indicted, and the court, right literally before he came to the United States. So there's a lot going on. There might be a continuation just in the Middle East, but we're also seeing some shifts. We're seeing a shift with Russia beginning to take more of a lead in the Middle East region. So it's an interesting time, folks, and we're not exactly sure where all of this is going to go. So that's why you need to stay tuned, as I will be following it on this channel. I can tell you where pieces of it are going. And what is the most significant, though, is the way the Palestinians are now really hanging on to dear life to Jerusalem, and Jerusalem is not going to be theirs during the tribulation period. It will be Israel's, and the Antichrist will then have that covenant with Israel, and then is going to also make his headquarters in Israel. So his headquarters will actually be in Jerusalem. And then there's also the issue in the Trump plan of the temple, which we know will not be there during the tribulation because the Al-Aqsa Mosque, I meant to say, because the third temple is what is going to be there. So I guess what I want to say in short is we have a little bit of time in this area for a little more pieces to fall into place. And of course, I will be reporting them on this channel. Sorry for the technical difficulty of tonight. If anyone has any comments or questions, I will be happy to hear what you have to say. And again, sorry for the technical difficulties. And for more, one last thing I would just like to say is this channel again provides analysis and both looks at what is fulfilled, is also giving the scripture of where these point to, as well as letting you know areas that we need to wait and see because we're not yet there. And when it comes to Jerusalem, we're just not yet there. Could the Ezekiel 38 war potentially snap the world literally into its geopolitical position for that? Absolutely, it can. So, for more on end time Bible prophecy, subscribe to Prophecy Talk and check out my website. And in the meantime, God bless.